You have probably looked up what to say, what tactic to use, how to argue back, how to protect yourself. I know because I did the same thing. And from my own personal experience, none of it worked. Stay with me because today I want to tell you why. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Doorway Healing. This is the place where we take painful love and turn into self-love, understanding, and real inner peace. And if this is your first time here, I want you to know something. You probably found this video because you are going through something similar to what I'm going through right now. Maybe you are in a painful situation, maybe something feels heavy, and you do not know what to do next. I believe this message came to you at exactly the right time. You did not land here by accident. You are exactly where you need to be. If you are going through a difficult situation right now, whether it is painful relationship, a family conflict, or a difficult legal process, I want you to stop for a moment because I want you to know I understand you. I truly feel for what you are carrying right now, and I'm sorry you are going through it. This video is for you because I'm still walking through a difficult process myself, and what I've learned through this experience has changed the way I see everything. I have lived this. I stood alone in the courtroom and fought for my own freedom. I thought the battle was with the other person. I thought if I could just find the right words, the right argument, I would win. But I kept getting pulled into chaos. A word, a message, a look. And suddenly I was reacting. Angry, afraid, guilty. Before I had even stopped to think. And then I realized something that changed everything. The problem was not that I did not have the right words. The problem was that I was not grounded enough to use them. The biggest mistake I made was thinking I needed better arguments. What I actually needed was a calmer, more grounded version of myself. This is not legal advice. This is what I have learned emotionally and personally, and I'm sharing it because I know someone out there needs to hear this. Today, we are going to look at three things together. First, why people who try to pull you into chaos rely on your triggers, and why tactic alone will never protect you. Second, what becoming grounded in yourself actually looks like, and how to protect your peace practically. Third, how healing changes you completely, that the old tactics stop working on you. Because when you heal, they can no longer control you. So let's begin. Here is the truth that most people miss. You can learn every tactic in the world. You can study how to respond, how to set limit, how to argue back. But if you're not grounded inside, none of it will work. Why? Because most people who try to pull you into chaos do not just respond to your words, they respond to your emotions. When you are triggered, when you are angry, afraid, or panicking, something happens. You stop thinking clearly. You start reacting. And in that moment of reacting, you reveal what hurts you. You show them exactly what they can use. When someone triggers your anger, you want to defend yourself. When someone triggers your fear, you want to make it stop. When someone triggers your guilt, you want to fix it. When someone triggers your needs to be understood, you keep explaining. And in all of that reacting, they are watching, they are learning, they are finding out what works. Here is something I want you to understand deeply. People who use your emotions against you need information to do it. They need to know what hurts you, what excites you, what scares you. And when you react, you hand them that information. That is why tactic alone will never protect you. Because if your inside is in chaos, your outside will leak it. Okay? I used to think the people who upset me, they were the most powerful people in my life. I was wrong. They were just people who had found my unlocked doors, the places where my healing had not yet reached. So ask yourself gently with kindness, not blame, which emotions get triggered most easily in me? Anger, fear, guilt, the need to explain, the need to be right. Those are not signs that you are weak. They are signs of where your healing still wants to go. And if this is already landing for you, if you have felt yourself get pulled into chaos and then hated yourself for reacting, I want you to do one small thing. Drop a comment below and write, I am no longer controlled by my triggers. I am becoming grounded in myself. Just those words, it tells your heart something is beginning to shift. Now, I want you to be clear about something, because when I talk about becoming grounded in yourself, I know what some people are thinking. Does this mean I stop feeling? Does this mean I become cold, numb, closed off? No, I don't mean that. That is not what I'm describing at all. There is a huge difference between suppressing your emotions and processing them. Suppressing is pushing feeling down and pretending they are not there. That is not healing. What I am describing is something different. It is processing your pain so deeply that it no longer runs you. Imagine two people receiving the same hurtful message. The first person reacts immediately. Anger, panic, the need to defend, the need to respond right now. The second person feels the same emotion rising, but instead of reacting, she pauses. She notices what is happening inside her, and she chooses her response deliberately. Both people felt the same emotion, only one was controlled by it. The old pattern, triggered, and then reaction. The new pattern, trigger, then awareness, then choice. That space between trigger and choice, it starts small, maybe just one breath. But as you heal, it grows. And so does your freedom. Now, here is something that many people overlook. Becoming grounded in yourself also means becoming more private with your emotional world. Remember, people who try to pull you into chaos need information. They need to know what hurts you, what you are feeling, what you are planning. When you share everything, every mood, every struggle, every fear, you are giving access to people who may not deserve it. This is not about hiding. This is not about playing games. Privacy is self-respect. You do not have to perform your life for everyone. You don't have to explain yourself to people who are not listening. You do not have to share your next step before you have taken it. The more grounded you become inside, the less you feel the need to broadcast your pain. You begin to move quietly, not from fear, not from hiding, but from self-trust. You know where you are going. You do not need everyone to validate the journey. Now, I know that sometimes you have to communicate. You cannot always go silent. Sometimes the situation requires a response. So here is what I have learned. You can be polite without being emotionally open. You can respond without revealing what is happening inside you. You can communicate without giving access to your emotional world. Keep it simple, keep it brief, keep it neutral. For example, thank you for letting me know. I will look into this. Please send me any further information in writing. No anger, no over-explanation, no personal updates, no emotional reactions. You are not playing games. You are simply protecting your peace and protecting your next step. The calmer your insight becomes, the clearer you can see what is actually happening. And when you can see clearly, you stop being pulled into chaos. Now, here is the part that I find most powerful. People who try to pull you into chaos are relying on something. They are relying on knowing you. They know what triggers your anger. They know what triggers your fear. They know what makes you feel guilty. They know what makes you keep explaining. They have studied your patterns, sometimes for years, and they are expecting the old version of you. But when you do the inner work, something extraordinary happens. You change. You heal the anger that used to make you explode. You face the fear that used to make you shrink. You release the need to be understood by people who never wanted to understand you. You stop needing to defend yourself to people who are not listening. And when you change like this, something happens that you may not expect. The old tactic stop working. Not because you are playing game, not because you are hiding, not because you have become cold, but because the version of you they learned to reach no longer exists. They press the old button, the button no longer works. I remember the first time I felt this. Someone said something to me that months earlier would have sent me into hours of pain. And I noticed something. I felt it, but it did not land the same way. It was like they were throwing something at a door that no longer opened. I did not become quiet because I was weak. I became private because I became grounded. And that is what healing actually is. Not just feeling better, becoming better. Becoming so grounded in yourself that other people's behavior no longer decide your peace, your decision, or your sense of self-worth. The greatest shift in my life was realizing this. My power was never in controlling another person. My power was in understanding myself so deeply that no one could control me through my wounds, my fear, or my triggers anymore. You can reach this place too. You stop asking, how do I make them understand? And start asking, what are their actions telling me? You stop asking, how do I change their behavior? And start asking, what do I need to protect right now? You stop reacting from fear, guilt, and anger, and start responding from clarity, calm, and self-trust. If you are going through something difficult right now, you do not have to keep reacting from pain. You can heal, you can get grounded, you can protect your peace. And when you do, you will see everything so much more clearly. Trust the process. Take care of yourself. Protect your peace. So if you have been getting pulled into chaos, remember these three things. First, tactics alone will never protect you if your trigger are still running the show. People who try to pull you into chaos use your emotion against you. They need your emotional reaction and your emotional information to do it. The less you react, the less you expose, the less they have to use. Second, becoming grounded in yourself, it is not becoming cold. It is the shift from trigger to reaction. That is the old pattern. The new pattern is trigger, then awareness, then choice. It is becoming private with your peace, polite and brief when you must communicate, but never give access to your inner world. Third, healing changes you from the inside. The version of you that people once knew how to pull you into chaos changes. The old tactics stop working, not because you are playing games, because you have genuinely become someone new. You did not become quiet because you were weak. You became private because you became grounded. And if this video spoke to your heart, if you have been getting pulled into chaos and you are ready to become grounded in yourself, I would love for you to subscribe to the Doorway Healing. This is a community where we do not stay in pain or blame. We understand, we heal, we grow, and we learn how to love without losing ourselves. You belong here. And one more thing before you go, I have a free guide called the Doorway Guide, 7 gentle steps to stop waiting in pain and come back to yourself. The link is below. It is free and it's gentle. And if you want to keep going with this healing, make sure you subscribe so you do not miss what is coming next. There is so much more we are going to go through together. I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you there, beautiful soul. And remember, the goal was never to control them. The goal was to heal yourself so deeply that they could no longer control you. Take care of your heart. I mean that.